Professional wrestling has been around for over 100 years. Wrestling superstars give their bodies for the entertainment of fans around the world. These fans shell out cash to watch the business they love. Passionate, crazy, and often misunderstood, this is the world of wrestling fandom. Wrestling fans will fill the largest of football stadiums, or the smallest of high school gyms. At WrestleMania 3 in 1987, 93,173 fans gathered to watch Hulk Hogan slam Andre the Giant.
Professional athlete in the world today. Look at this. He's
Identifying a wrestling fan isn't always easy. At the height of wrestling's mainstream popularity in the late 1990s, it was as simple as spotting a t-shirt. Now that wrestling has lost some of its mainstream appeal,
it's still real to me, damn it!
The average wrestling fan is a little less obvious. Only the boldest of wrestling fans dare to display their fandom publicly. Once into wrestling, a newcomer can gain a lot of knowledge from the internet. Several wrestling websites have behind-the-scenes information and fan forums. Perhaps the best insight into the business is to learn from the wrestlers themselves. Former world champions such as Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and Chris Jericho have all written books that detail the wrestling business. There are a few portals into pro wrestling. The easiest is probably the several weekly television shows. Less common ways include live shows, wrestling DVDs, and popular YouTube clips. The primary generator of content is Vincent Kennedy McMahon, the man in charge of the WWE. McMahon decides who will win matches based on the reaction of the fans. He's largely responsible for wrestling's popularity, and his decisions even influence his competitors. Conflict is mostly just disagreements on who the better wrestler is. These conflicts usually run their course in the fan forums. Wrestling content is based purely on the reaction of the fans. Fans buy the tickets, go to pay-per-views. If fans don't like what they see, wrestling would go out of business. Intensive knowledge of wrestling takes place primarily online. People seek out to find what is actually happening behind the scenes. Fans with extensive knowledge are usually referred to as casual fans. They'll watch when it's on and occasionally attend shows. Dave Meltzer is the best example of an expert fan. He publishes a behind-the-scenes magazine called The Wrestling Observer. Knowledge of the product is primarily dispersed through one of the 3 weekly television shows put on by 2 companies. WWE shows are Raw and SmackDown, while TNA runs a show called Impact. No real experience is needed to be a wrestling fan. Just watching the action is plenty enough. Fans have tried to get involved before, but it usually doesn't turn out well. Other than live shows, generally gather together to watch major pay-per-views. Buffalo Wild Wings often shows these for free. There really isn't any hierarchy among wrestling fans. The only variation is the level of devotion.
It's still real to me,
That's the basics of pro wrestling. Keep watching, and it's still real to me too.